here. We're really excited to get this started, and there have been many changes this year. So we want to make sure that everybody knows about those changes. My name's David. I'm the CEO here at MSAR, and I am joined by our Circle of Excellence chair, Miss Stavette Dukes. And I'm going to turn it over to Miss Stavette to get us started now.
Hey, 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 and good afternoon. Thank you guys for taking out time in your day at 4 o'clock on a Wednesday because it's really time to clock out. So I thank you guys for taking time out to not only be here, but be present with cameras on, in place, not driving, all the things. I just want to say thank you again for just allowing me to serve as 2026 chair. This role means a lot to me. I'm really excited about this year. 2025 presented as a very challenging year for some. A lot of people got out of the business. A lot of people didn't even do a transaction. So, for us to be able to really honor, spotlight, and reward those who diligently not only stayed in business, but stayed in the board. I think it's so amazing that we get to honor what they fully did for 2025. I know that this was some groundwork that was laid before I became the chair, but I'm so glad to be the chair to be able to bring this to fruition. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who, were behind the push, who supported this. We did it. And so I'm super excited with that. Thank you. With that, I'm really, really hoping that, sorry guys, my phone's ringing. With that, I have been getting some amazing feedback from agents, brokerages, so I'm hoping that with this full recognition of their commitment, that we have a more full participation, which is what we want. And I think that with full participation, that this really aligns with what our mission is from the board, from what David wants to do, from a staff perspective, what Al wants to do as our leader and current president, because our goal and our mission is to grow the board. And so I believe that Circle of Excellence kind of spearheads that initiative at the beginning of the year. And so as we become that force, that this is going to allow us to pick up that momentum so that for 2026, that this really leads the charge for all the things that we're going to do. So I'm super excited that we're starting it off with the Circle of Excellence, the top producer of with our theme of Bridgerton. I just think that it just lends itself to us being not only excellent, but we are just holding ourselves to a higher standard, and that standard continues for 2026. So I just want to say thank you guys for not only the support. I thank you all for each of you who have reached out and just, just in your own private way just have told me thank you. I really definitely do appreciate it. And I realize that Circle of Excellence is bigger than a party, which is really why I started, because I really do love a good party. If y'all know me, y'all know. If you know, you know. But it has definitely changed the way that I feel about real estate, about the board, and what it is that we do here. So I just want to say thank you guys so much, and let's do it.
Thank you so much, Stavette, for getting us kicked off. And I have to adjust my settings. So thank you so much for getting us kicked off. I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. We're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it uh, to the point, get you everything you need to know. But we want to review the changes that have been made to the Circle of Excellence program and application. And then after that, I want to take any questions from the audience. We're actually going to walk through a mock application. So the first thing, there have been three big changes. I keep saying four because the fourth change is having this Zoom session that we are recording so that we can then disseminate that to all of our members in case they have any questions. That was an idea bred through through last year's developing our program to see what we can make better. Kim Freshwater actually had the idea, hey, let's have a session to record any questions that people had. So thank you very much for past President Kim's insight there. So big change the biggest change, number one, full production credit. So the way COE has worked in the past is if you sold a house and you represented the buyer and the house was worth $300,000, that was the final sales price, you would be able to claim $150,000 if you only represented one side of that, the buyer or the seller. Versus if you facilitated or otherwise represented both the buyer and seller or facilitated between those two, you would then be able to claim the full credit. That rule is gone. So full production credit means that if you sell a house and you represent the buyer or the seller, and that house sold at $300,000, you get to claim $300,000 worth of production credit. In the event that your report shows that you facilitated or otherwise represented both sides of the transaction, you would be able to claim $600,000. This change was made to further represent what most brokerages recognize, to further represent what industries recognize, especially for those brokerages that have production reports, which is the second thing we're going to talk about today. If your brokerage gives you a plaque that says, "Hey, you sold 10 million worth of real estate," and then MSAR gives you a plaque that says you sold 5 million worth of real estate, that can be really confusing. And we want to make sure that we're aligning with what industry best practices are. We've done a lot of research with other boards. We've done research with brokerages to figure out sort of where that standard lies, and we believe that this full production credit is the best, is the most consistent with the industry. So if you sell a $300,000 house, you claim $300,000 worth of credit. If you represent both sides or facilitate, you get $600,000 worth of credit. The second big change is that we are allowing you to submit for those companies that have a broker generated or a company generated report. We're allowing you to submit that report to us in lieu of the production spreadsheet. So our previous system was that you had to download a spreadsheet that we provided to you. This spreadsheet had a calculator on it. So you put on the spreadsheet the transaction date, the purchase price, the seller, the address, and it would calculate what your Circle of Excellence production credit was. Most companies, especially your larger firms, and even some of your smaller firms, they have an internal mechanism for keeping up with each agent's production volume. I know that was something I experienced when I sold property as well. So your broker might have, and it could just be an Excel sheet. Your broker or your company might have something that says, "Hey, Agent X, you sold 300,000, I'm sorry, you sold 3 million worth of real estate, and here's all your transaction volume." Whatever is on that report that your company officially recognizes, if you submit that report to us, that's what we're going to use to calculate your production credit. The spreadsheet still exists. If you are someone who needs to use the spreadsheet or you have a unique valuation, I'm thinking particularly rentals, or let's say your production, some broker production reports actually don't give you full credit for both sides of the transaction. So if there's some sort of variance and you need to use the spreadsheet, that is still available for you to submit the spreadsheet. But the idea is that if you already have this report, it's already something that your broker or your company generates. You can simply upload it, and whatever is on that production report will be the total amount of production volume will be given credit for. So this basically, it's to the intent behind this rule change is to make it to where you don't have to go through the extra process of filling out the spreadsheet. And then the final change is the broker verification form. In the past, we've actually required a separate form to be filled out by your brokers. And if you had more than one broker in this within the same production year, multiple brokers had to fill out the form that said, "We endorse and hereby certify that Agent X has sold $3 million worth of real estate." Instead of doing that, all we're simply asking is that the broker sign the production report. So that signature, especially if it's a company generated report, that signature verifies, "Hey, we're endorsing, we have seen that this is this agent's volume, and we hereby attest to that." And that is part of the application process. That's part of you attesting to that being a verified number. Similarly, if you're using the spreadsheet, this was a rule change that we started last year as well. If you're using the spreadsheet, there is a place on the spreadsheet for the broker to sign as well. So that is there in place just to make sure that your broker has reviewed your production and agrees to the amount that you are submitting for Circle of Excellence credit. All right. So I want to pause there and then we'll go through the actual application process. But just to recap, those three rules are full production credit, company generated reports in lieu of the spreadsheet if you would like, and the broker verification is just the broker signing the report. So next we're going to move into the mock application portion. So I'm going to share my screen and submit an application as if I was about to apply for the Circle of Excellence. So you can see how easy the process is, and hopefully we can answer any questions that arise. Please keep your questions till the end, and then we'll have Q&A where you can submit any questions via chat. So here you have, we'll go back to the Circle of Excellence page on the website. So you probably got an email. Stavette, can you see my screen
Yes.
with the Circle of Excellence application?
Right now it says Circle of Excellence 2026 soiree of the season.
Got it. That's what we need. Okay.
Okay.
So you probably received an email that looks just like this. If not, please reach out to us because you're not getting MSAR's communications. So this is the Circle of Excellence landing page on our website. This is where all information can be found. So you can see our flyer here. You can see a breakdown of the rules changes here. They're the very first thing that you read. So you can read these if you have any questions about those rules. Here are your event details. And here are some additional information that can help you with your application. So we'll review those really quick. You can apply as an individual or a team, but not both. For each individual, banquet attendance is included with your purchase. Any additionals can be purchased at this link, actually. For each team application, one attendance and one plaque are included. You can purchase additional plaques. You can invest any amount that you would like to in the Realtors Political Action Committee, but you do not have to. At the Circle of Excellence event, we are going to recognize $25, $99, $200, $500, and $1,000 levels. So we definitely encourage it, but that is totally optional. And we no longer accept the paper Circle of Excellence applications. So that's one of the big reasons that we are doing the Zoom session here to help everybody prepare for that change. So then you have a few options. Click here to apply for Circle of Excellence. Click here for extra guest tickets, and that's just a simple ticketing system to purchase tickets in anyone's name. And this was for the virtual Circle of Excellence application. I have a couple more links for you. One is click here for the Circle of Excellence rules. If you have particular questions about how production or things are calculated, the rules are here. And then this is a link to the sales production spreadsheet if you need to use the spreadsheet. And of course, if anyone on here works with a firm or an affiliate company that would like to sponsor, these are applications for our sponsorship if you would like to sponsor the event. So let's go into the Circle of Excellence application. You'll see again the reference to the three big rule changes. The checklist for application is actually for our staff and committees only. When we are certifying your applications, we're making sure that everything is complete. That way we can check off our internal checklist to make sure we have everything we need, but that is not something you have to worry about. When you go to apply, you'll simply click the box that says Circle of Excellence, enter your first name, last name, and email, and hit next. And you'll be taken to page 2 of the application, which is where you'll be asked specific questions. So the first thing you're asked is whether or not you want an additional Circle of Excellence plaque. Remember that you will get one, but if you would like an additional one, particularly for people on teams, if everyone on the team wanted one, you would get, you may add line items to that. So it would be $55 each. So for example purposes, I'm going to say that I want one extra plaque. If you would not like any extra plaques, please enter 0. Whatever you put here will affect the bottom line that you have to pay upon application. Additionally, you have your voluntary RPAC contribution for the Realtors Political Action Committee. If you would like to include an investment into RPAC with your Circle of Excellence application, you can choose any amount you would like to. You can include $1 or $10,000. MSAR recognizes the $25, $99, $200, $500, and $1,000 and up at the Circle of Excellence events. And if you want any additional information as to what RPAC does or who can apply, please click this link. You do have to be a realtor or immediate family member or affiliated immediate family member as part of the solicitable class to actually invest in RPAC. Most people will be if they're filling out the application. All details can be found there. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to say that we want to invest $99 to make our 99 club to be recognized at the event. Now you'll enter your mailing address. We're looking for the address on file for you as an individual. And phone number. We're hoping to find your primary phone. For most people, that will be their direct cell line. We encourage you not to put your office phone number there unless that's the best place to reach you, because that's where we're going to actually call if we have questions about your application. Additional information, we need your applicant or team name. So if you're an individual, you might put David Sanders or whatever your name is. If you are a real estate team, you might put David Sanders Real Estate Team. This is not where you put your office information. This is just where you put your name or whatever your team goes by. Similarly, you probably saw Austin as my first legal name. If your name is Austin, but you go by David, please put what you want on the plaque here, not your legal name, if there's a difference in those. Your office name will be next. So for your office name, you will put whichever office you're affiliated with. And please be sure to put exactly how that should be typed, including any characters or anything so that we print it accurately for your licenses, for your office's information. License number, very simple. Put whatever your license number is. That's my Tennessee license number in case anybody wants to look it up. It is retired. So you can put whether or not you're attending right here. This will let us know whether we need to put you on the guest list. Sometimes our Circle of Excellence applicants do not elect to attend. It does not change the price, so we certainly encourage you to attend. Most of you will select yes. For a membership category, you have two options, residential or commercial. And that just goes with what your primary focus in real estate is. We know that sometimes people have a little bit of a mix in there. You'll mostly just choose whichever your primary is. For individual or team, you can only choose one, individual or team. If you're submitting a team application, you cannot also submit applications on behalf of your individuals on the team, or vice versa. If you're an individual, you can't also submit your credit on someone else's team. So if I have 5 agents on my team, either we all do individuals, or 3 of us could do individuals for our own credit, or we do it all together as one team. We just cannot count production from one onto the other. Team information, this is not, you'll see the star is not here. It is not required because most people do not submit under the teams. We do have a handful of teams. If there is a team, please put the name of the team as well as who the team leader is. That way we can make sure our records are accurate. And then again, if this is a team application, even if you put the team name here, if you go back to applicant name and it says an individual's name, we're going to put whatever is right here. So if what is right here under applicant needs to be the same as team name, please make sure those are updated. The applicant/team name will be what goes on your plaque. Team members, if you have, depending on how many people are on your team, this is an unlimited field. So if you have 5 or 25 members on your team, please list them all right here. That way we can verify each person's production. Each member of your team does have to be a member of MSAR for us to count your production. Now we're going to get into production information. Your current milestone status is how long you have been in the Circle of Excellence. This is something to recognize those people who are legacy award winners. So if you are just applying for the first time or anything less than 3 years, you are an active member. Active life is 3 years out of the last 5. So that could be 21, 22. That could be 2022, 2023, and 2025. Just as long as you have 3 out of the last 5 years, they can be consecutive, but they can't go beyond that 5. Zenith is a member for the last 10 years. Gold is 15 years, platinum 20, diamond 25, Hall of Fame 30 plus. If this year you're making a milestone, let's say this is your 10th year, but you have not yet attained that milestone, you will put you will put active life member because you haven't gotten it yet. Remember, this is current milestone status before you've been approved. This section is for if you are upgrading to a milestone award. So if this is your third year, well, let's go back to active. So let's assume that this is the third year that I will qualify to become an active life member. Now I will say this is the milestone award that I'm applying for. I'm moving up to the next level. Similarly, if I was Zenith at 10 and this was my 15th year, I put this. I'm moving up to the milestone award. You only move up with each one of these levels. Then for the milestone qualifying year, let's say I got Zenith in 2020. We're going to want to know the most recent time I qualified for whatever my milestone was. For the sake of this application, I'm assuming that I upgraded to gold at 15, which would have been last year. I would put in 2025. Total dollar credit claimed. So again, we have our statement about full production credit. And for the sake of this, I'm going to assume that I am asking for 10,500,272 worth of production credit. Granted, that's not what's going to be on your plaque. It's just going to say 10 million plus, but we do ask you to put how much you're claiming here. In the event that you have to split that up between two companies, let's say you moved companies halfway through the qualifying year, which would be 2025, we need to know how much of that came from company one and how much of that came from company two. I think my zero.
A lot of zeros.
Is that right? Yeah, okay. So from previous company, I've got 7 million, and from current company, I've got 3 million. And these two should total this number. Next is our production report or sales spreadsheet upload. Again, you have the information that you need here for the rule change. If you have your production spreadsheet ready, you will simply upload it like this. We're going to pretend that's our attachment, and we've attached our production report or spreadsheet. If you haven't yet completed your spreadsheet, here's yet another link to go and complete that spreadsheet if you need the spreadsheet. Remember, you don't have to if you have a production report. But I want to quickly show you what that spreadsheet looks like. It has an instructions page, which tells you how to fill it out, and as many pages as you need. So you might put property address 1 in here, property address 2, and you keep going. And this spreadsheet will auto calculate your production, and it goes down for 10 different pages. So if you need to fill this out, you can simply click the link. We encourage you to download it on your own because you won't be able to edit it in our file. This version has to stay blank, but download it on your own, and then you can fill out the spreadsheet as you need. Then, if you are a broker, this only qualifies for somebody who is a qualifying broker. You're going to have to submit your closing statements and signature pages of your sales contracts or lease contracts so that we can verify your production, because you don't have a broker that you report to. Ultimately, your qualifying broker is the one who says, yes, this person did what they were supposed to do. I verified that they sold $10 million worth of property. But if you are that person, then the rules state that we have to then verify that your production amount is correct. So we make sure that you're getting the award that you're supposed to get. So we will ask that you upload the closing disclosure for all the sales that you're claiming with the signature page, and the signature page of your sales or lease contracts for all of those sales as well, and they will be kept confidential. If you are not a qualifying broker, please disregard this. It is not required for applicants who are not qualifying brokers. If you're an associate broker and not a qualifying broker, you still do not have to do the audit upload. And lastly, headshots. This is not required because we actually do have a lot of people who submit without their headshots, but I'm asking you to absolutely please give us your highest resolution headshot. It is so important that you upload the highest resolution that you can. And we're going to pick Miss the Vet here. And a lot of people will upload very pixely or very reduced images. We want it to be the best that it can be because that's what's going to go into our marketing. That's what's going to be printed on the high resolution program that you'll receive. And we want it to look good. This is your yearbook photo. If you need help getting a photo, you can always reach out to somebody here at the board. We are not going to have a specific day for photos like we've done in the past. We just want to know, like, if you really need help getting a headshot, reach out to somebody who can help you. And then finally, you have your acknowledgement. So I mentioned a little bit about audits. The audits, we will audit randomly 10% of all of the applications that we get. So you may be selected, even though you're not a broker, we might say, hey, we have to audit your file. And at that time, we'll reach out to you via email and maybe a phone call to let you know we need to collect this, this, and this from you. And we'll be doing that in the weeks leading up to the deadline for applications. That way you're not blindsided by anything, but most people will not be subject to audits. But the acknowledgement says that I hereby acknowledge that the information is accurate and true to the best of my knowledge. You're saying that if you put 10 million on that paper, you actually sold 10 million, and that you've read the rules, which are again available at this link, and you certify that all of your team members have fulfilled all education requirements, dues, penalties, etc. for the board. You must have been a member in good standing for the 2025 year to be accepted. And then a few more notes. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to RPAC, please do so by entering an amount in the box above. And if you want to purchase additional plaques, they're $55 each. Please do so back at that link at the top. And if you want to purchase additional guest tickets, let's say you want to bring a spouse or a friend, you can do them at this link. That's not built into the application. So you'll say yes. And then the very last piece is the dues. So the application fee is $135. Now you recall that earlier I said I want to contribute $99 to RPAC and $55 for an additional plaque. That would change my price to $289. If you decide, yeah, I see that 55, I don't think I need an extra plaque, you can uncheck it. Similarly, RPAC is always voluntary. You can uncheck this at any time that you'd like. And then the final thing you'll do is enter your credit card information. This is secure. It is not stored in a system where we can see. We can only see the last 4 digits. You probably don't want to enroll in auto pay. There's not going to be any sort of recurring charge with COE, but it is still an option. You can save it to your account. So if you go to pay your dues, we can use this same card. But both of those are unchecked by default and totally up to you. You accept our pay now or our payment terms, and you pay now. That's the process in a nutshell. Pretty simple. At this time, I'm going to open the floor up for any questions that we might have. So something happened with the other video, and there were a few clarifications that needed to be made about the Q&A that came. So what I've done is condensed the Q&A, found the best answers to it, and I'm also going to show you here on the screen how to answer each one of the questions that came up in Q&A. So let's get started. First question, do milestone awards have to be consecutively reached to move up to the next level? And what happens if you don't qualify 1 year? So no, the way that works is, let's say you're going for the Zenith Award, which is 10 years, and you're on year number 8. Then year number 9, you don't qualify. Year number 10, you choose not to apply. Whenever you apply on year 11, you're going back for that 9 slot. So essentially, let's say 2024, you got your 8th year. 2025, you didn't qualify. 2026, you didn't qualify. And 2027, you can apply for your 9th year. So you basically just pick up wherever you left off. The only exception is when you're moving from active to active life. Active life does have to be 3 out of the last 5 years. Can each team member have a plaque if additional plaques are ordered? As many plaques as you want can be ordered, and you can give them to your team members, but they must have the same name on them. You can't say Dave's real estate team and then each member of that team gets a plaque with their own name on it. So yes, you can have as many plaques as you want, but they will not have the individual names of the agents. Next question is, I don't have Microsoft Excel. Will the spreadsheet download work in Google Sheets? The answer to that question is yes, and I will share my screen to show you what that looks like. So if you are on the click here for the sales production spreadsheet, you click this button and it should automatically download your spreadsheet. If not, you can always prompt it to download. Then when you go back to Excel, you can start a new sheet. You'll go to you'll go to File, Import, Upload, Browse. And this most recent download here is the MSAR COE spreadsheet. Import data, wait on it to do its magic thing, and then that spreadsheet has uploaded into Google Sheets for you. While I'm screen sharing, I'm going to go ahead and handle the next couple questions that need a screen. Can I purchase guest tickets later? The answer to that question is yes. There are two places to purchase guest tickets. One is on the main Circle of Excellence screen. So you can go down to click here for additional guest tickets. Additionally, it will show up as an event in MSAR's calendar. So if we're here, Circle of Excellence, same thing, click here to register as a guest. And you'll put in an email, log in, select your registration options, pay, and then confirm. Two more questions. One about something on the screen. The next is, how do I calculate production if I have more than one brokerage during the qualifying year? Great question. So when you are on the application, you will see total dollar credit claimed. I'll put $3 million in credit claimed on the total. For my current company, I'm going to put 2 million. That's how much production I've had since I've been at the current company. And I'm going to put 1 million in the previous company. If you had more than one previous company, let's say you had 3 or more firms within one qualifying year, then whatever you put here will have to be the total of everything that's not your current company. So if 500,000 came from one, 500,000 came from another, then you just need to total that here, and this amount should be your total current company. For teams, whose license number goes on the application? Excellent question. Right here, you see that I've applied as Dave the Dominator's real estate team with Metro South Realty. The license number that I put here should be the team leader's license number, no one else's. But then for teams, we need to put, again, the team's name, who the team leader is, and this is where you list all of the members of the team. This field does not have a cap on it. You can put as many people in here. Please put their license number, their name, as well as their license number. That will really help us a lot. But the main one still should be the team leader's license number. All right, let's review the other questions that don't require me to share my screen. If I'm using a company or broker generated report, does it need to have the same information as the production spreadsheet? No. MSAR will accept the company broker generated report in its format so long as it accurately shows the applicant's production. If you are licensed in another state, does my production from that state count towards Circle of Excellence credit? Yes, it does. Do we have to take fair housing and code of ethics in order to apply? This one is nuanced. You have to be compliant with the qualifying year's code of ethics cycle. So code and fair housing cycle. So code of ethics and fair housing happen on 3-year rotations. We call them cycles. Cycle 7 was January 1st, 2022 to January 31st, 2024. Cycle 8 started in 2025 and will go until 2027. So we're talking about the qualifying year, which is 2025. since 2025 is the beginning of the cycle, we don't require you to have completed it yet because your deadline isn't the end. So as long as you completed it before December 31st, 2024, you will still be able to apply. And that same goes for 2026, and it won't become an issue until 2027 when the end of that cycle comes. We'll have to make sure that those people are compliant. But if you are an active realtor, chances are you have already taken both of those. The only exception would be if you are within the first 6 months of your membership. You do have to have that complete before you apply. So nuance, yes, you have to be compliant, but being compliant is probably way easier. If you're watching this, you're probably already compliant. And we verify that as staff. What do I mean by being a facilitator or facilitating a transaction? So I told you that production credit, you get to count double if you facilitate or if one party is unrepresented. Facilitating means, or if you truly represent both sides, facilitating or transaction brokerage means that you aren't representing either side. So that happens when neither the listing agent nor neither the seller or the buyer, they both elect to be non-represented. You treat them both as customers and not clients, and you work on behalf of the contract. It seems to be a little bit more rare in Georgia, but that's the same scenario for double production as it would be if one side was represented and one side was not. So a client and a customer, or two customers, or if you represent both as a client. So the easiest way to think of that is if another agent is on this transaction with you representing the other party, then you're getting 1 times production. If there is no other agent, you're getting 2 times production. Can I use my own transaction reporting software? Yes, if you use some sort of closing connector, I've heard of a few other softwares that track your closings and your production for you. If you use those, you can submit that so long as your broker signs it and verifies that that is your production. We will take it. Do rentals count toward my total production credit? Yes, they do. And in the Circle of Excellence rules, there is a calculation for that. For residential and commercial leases, you are getting credit for the amount of the total lease. So let's say it's monthly payments. If you sign a 12-month lease for a total of $15,000, that's $15,000 of credit. If you sign a 24-month lease for $30,000, that's $30,000 worth of credit, but that's over 2 years. So you claim it all on the first year that you write the lease, the year that the lease is actually dated. However, you don't get to claim that again next year. So if you signed a 2-year lease in 2024, you claim the full production credit for both 2 years on 2024s. You don't reclaim it on 2025s. What name goes on the plaque? For individuals, put your name on it exactly as you want it listed in the name for plaque field on the application. The plaque will also list your production level and your milestone level if you have a milestone, and it will not include your company. For teams, the same applies, but the plaque should be in the team name. It should not be in the individual's name, and you're only going to get one iteration of that. You can have as many copies as you want, but there's only going to be one iteration of that plaque. So the Dave's the Dominator real estate team, if I have 10 members and I want 10 plaques, they're all going to get a copy of the plaque that says Dave the Dominator's real estate team. Does the broker sign my application? They do not. The application is digital. What the broker signs is the production report or the Circle of Excellence production spreadsheet that is then uploaded to the application. That's the only thing the broker signs. Do listings count towards my production credit? Listings themselves do not count unless they culminate in a successful close. So if you listed a property and then the listing terminated for whatever reason or did not sell or expired, you cannot claim that as transaction credit, only if you closed on that listing. And I think that's everything else. So if there are any additional questions, please refer to the rules that will be linked on the website. And also you can call MSAR at 770-477-7579 or send me an email to david@msarboard, board, and I'll be happy to answer those as quickly as possible. I look forward to seeing you soon.